We're here today with Driving with John. Uh, John has a YouTube channel. Make sure you go check it out. Today, we're going to talk about some new medical requirements that they kind of slipped in on us quietly here. I did not know about it until John said, "Hey, let's do a show and talk about this." Um, we hear all about the speed limiters coming up and all the other regulations, but this one kind of got implemented quietly here. So today, Driving with John here is gonna talk about it with us, and I have his channel name scrolling at the bottom of the screen here. So definitely go check his channel out. Thanks for joining us today, John. And what have you learned about these new medical requirements?
Thank you, DIY, for having me on. Well, it kind of starts with a story. I took my physical about a month ago, and I got a 2-year, no problems. I went to get another physical because when you start at another company, they want you to take another physical. At least that company wanted me to. So I went in to get the physical, and I went, jumped through all their hoops and, did everything I was supposed to get done. And then they told me they were giving me a 3-month card. I asked them why. And they said, because I fit the criteria for sleep apnea, though I have no symptoms at all. And the criteria is what blew my mind. Basically, if you go to get your physical and you meet certain criteria, whether you have symptoms or not, you're going to be required. They're going to give you a 3-month card, and they're going to require you to go get a sleep apnea test. There's more beyond that, but that's the long and the short of it.
I thought this was already in place. Is there new standards for the testing?
Yeah. Well,
okay. Talk about what was already in place and then what it is now.
Well, what was already in place before you weren't red flagged for, let me give you the criteria here real quick. Like I said, a month ago, I went and got my physical. These same criteria would be true for me a month ago as they are now. A month ago, they didn't flag me to get a sleep apnea test, but now they have. So if your BMI is over 33, if you're over the age of 42, if your neck circumference is 17 inches or greater, there are different requirements for male and female, but female would be 15.5 inches. Hypertension, history of stroke, diabetes, obvious ones like that. If you snore, the appearance, the gap inside of your mouth. And then the one that really surprised me is if you're a male, that's a mark against you. So in other words, if you go in and you're 43 years old and you have a 17-inch neck and you're a male, but you exhibit nothing else, they're going to get you you're going to be flagged with a 3-month card to go get a sleep apnea test.
So just the fact that if you're a male, you only need 2 other indicators on that checklist, and you have to go get a test.
Yep. You don't even have to be like, I'm a bigger guy, and I've always had like an 18-inch neck, but that doesn't matter. You don't have to be a bigger guy. If your neck's a little bit bigger and, like you said, 2 other indicators, and they got you.
So diabetes and maybe if you snore would do it.
Or high blood pressure.
Okay.
Yep. And the kicker of that is they give you a 3-month card because if you fail the sleep apnea test, you can't drive a vehicle until you've already proven that you can keep up with the treatment over at least a 90-day period. So basically, if you fail, you're going to get a CPAP machine. You have to have 90 days to prove that you can stay on that before you can drive a commercial vehicle.
So you could be put out of work for 90 days?
Yep. Could be. If you fail a sleep apnea.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
So, okay, if you have those indicators and you go take a sleep apnea test and you pass, what happens then? You just go back to work as normal?
You have to go back and resubmit for a DOT physical with the paperwork saying that you passed your sleep apnea part. And then they'll submit, a year or 2 years, whatever you normally would get, depending on your health. But
could you possibly be put through another sleep apnea test whenever that physical? Is this something you're going to have to do every time your physical expires, or once you take a sleep apnea test, are you good?
No, the sleep apnea test is only good, I think, for a year. So if you let's say you get a 2-year, don't quote me on that one. I'm not 100% sure of that one, but they said that every time you go to resubmit for your medical card, if you fall under those criteria and you haven't already taken your sleep apnea study, they're going to require it. So to me, that would mean a year or 2 years, depending on, your current health conditions or whatever. But
Okay.
What I was
But
saying,
if you go for the test and you don't pass or whatever, they determine you have sleep apnea, you automatically potentially can't work for 90 days.
that's what they told me. Yes. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, you have to be able to prove that you're going to stay on the treatment for, I think it's 90 days, if I remember correctly. It was once you go to resubmit, they want that you can stay on that. Like if you have positive for sleep apnea, they want you to prove every time you go back to resubmit that you're using your equipment. You have to have a log of 60 to 90 days every time you resubmit. So that's a whole nother thing. But this was kind of a surprise to me because, like I said, a month ago I got a 2-year card. So
So
and
you can't
I had no
you
symptoms.
can't you can't work and log it for that first 90 days. You have to have a full 90 days before you can resubmit for the physical.
Not the first 90 days, no. That's the way it was explained to me by the doctor. So,
Wow. So I'm assuming what you have to come out of pocket for this testing and all this treatment.
if you have insurance, it probably cover part of it. I didn't because I immediately went online and found a place online, $175. You talk to a doctor, they send you the test, you do the sleep study, you get to keep the little testing kit, upload it to an app, and the next day you get your results back. So, if I'd have known ahead of time, I could have had all that done before the physical. As it is, we jump through hoops anyway, for DOT as it is. This is just another hoop, but people need to know about it so they can prepare for it ahead of time because I don't think we can change it. You know what I mean?
Was that all the stipulations that you covered?
Um, yeah, I covered, they actually gave me a printout that has my name and personal information on it, so I can't put it up in front
Right.
of you, but yeah, it has all the stipulations on there. And it says, according to what this is saying, you need 3 qualifying factors to be put in for a sleep apnea test. The 3 qualifying factors can be anything on the list. And I kind of went over the list already, but everything that I put on there, simple things like snoring or, age and just being a male. The thing that really bothers me about this, I don't mean to go off on a tangent on you, but I was looking at regulations like you were talking about, speed limiters and all that stuff. We've seen it coming and it has to get voted on and gets approved. This was kind of slipped under the radar. No one voted on this. It's just DOT putting more medical requirements on the physical without notifying us at all. And that's kind of the thing. You can't even prepare for it if you don't know about it. So
Okay. What is the age that's on there?
42.
So if you're a male and you're 42,
Yeah.
all you need is one other qualifying factor.
Yep. If you snore, if you have high blood pressure or diabetes, you're done right there. One of those, any one of those.
That's kind of arbitrary if you ask me. I mean,
Yeah. And I think honestly, it's kind of targeting truckers because we don't live the healthiest lifestyle. So diabetes and high blood pressure are kind of a normal thing in our industry. So
right, right,
you can only fall under 3 sections. The first section is a 0 score. That means you have 1 or more that disqualifies you. You don't need to take the test. The the section of C, you have 1, and it's limited. It's at that point, they can recommend if they don't want to recommend. But if you have 3, they can recommend automatically. If I'm reading that correctly, that would mean if you go in and you only have 1 disqualifying factor, but the doctor thinks that you might have sleep apnea, he can send you for it. That's again kind of arbitrary because all you have to
yeah,
be is male.
yeah. I mean, uh, a regular doctor doesn't really have the any idea how much this can really affect your livelihood.
I don't think you or I are against being safe out on the roads and stuff, and I
No,
get why
no,
they have this, but I think it's an overstep without notifying people that it's happening. And like I couldn't prepare for it. That's the thing. You prepare for a lot of things in trucking, and you pre-trip before you drive. Before your top physical, if you know I need to go take a sleep apnea test, you could prepare for that. But
right,
if you don't know, you can't prepare. So that's kind of
right,
why I want to talk to you about it because truckers need to know what's going on so they can prepare ahead of time.
right. So okay, so they send you for a sleep apnea test, and you fail, and you get a CPAP machine. You go your 90 days, and you go back to work. You go back to take a physical. Now you passed the physical. How long of a physical card do they give you then? Are you still on a
1 year.
3 month? Oh,
No, it's a 1 year card.
you'll
Yeah.
qualify for a 1 year.
I mean, that's the doctor and I was asking him a lot of questions because kind of caught me off guard. And that was one of the things I asked. And he told me, yeah, it's a 1 year card if you can prove that you have successfully done your treatment.
Any idea what would happen if you took the sleep apnea test and went on the machine and could not get it under control? Will they suspend your CDL? What will happen? Because essentially, for that 90 days, you don't have a valid medical card. Is your CDL suspended?
Well, he didn't specifically say suspend your CDL, but he did say you can't operate a vehicle without having shown your treatment plan, and you can't show your treatment plan until it's been 90 days. It's kind of like a workaround in my mind, rather than you still have that 90-day card. Like I still have a 90-day card as of the second, but if I go take this, I take this test and then by crazy circumstances I fail, yeah, I'm not sure that I'm allowed to work. I don't think I'm allowed to work from what he was telling me for 90 days until I can prove that I can do the treatment, which is insane to me that you would take someone's livelihood for that.
Well, thanks for doing this today. We really appreciate the information, and obviously, everybody, talk it over with your doctor and see what's best for you to do. But you want to promote your channel just for quickly here before we're done?
Sure. Driving with John. I do a lot of shorts, long form videos. I've started doing lives now. Just come check me out. I really appreciate it. Though I have 2,000 subscribers almost, I'm not monetized yet. So if you want to watch long form videos, it would really help me out.
Thanks for coming on today, and we'll do it again sometime.
No problem. Thank you, DIY. You have a great day.